My name's Shawn Severs, and I'm founder of Storyline Marketing, and you're about to get the origin story of Storyline Marketing. Storyline Marketing is the agency for automotive and repair businesses in America. If you have a facility and people need to show up or call, or you have a service advisor or a tech that does some form of inspection, and you want to add that extra zero, we are the agency for you. Why? Because we lead with the story. We lead with the why and not just the buy. We combine the why and the buy, and that's where people start choosing you as opposed to your competitors. I'm chapter 29 of my life right now. Now 2021 is where Storyline Marketing was born, where before that I was working for a $100 million staffing agency. I discovered the opportunity and I created the opportunity to be a CMO for the staffing agency. And how that came about, I picked up the co-founder doing Uber. What's going on, guys? I'm here with the co-founder of LaborMax.
We have to rewind this, how this all began 80 days ago with you picking me up at 5 in the morning from an Uber and telling me what you had going on in your dreams and your hopes and your goals, working with a big company. We happen to be one of the top 10 leaders in industrial staffing, pushing for number one here, hopefully in 2020, really making that excessive growth.
2019, when I moved back to Arizona, because I'm originally from Michigan, I discovered if I Ubered in the morning at 4 a.m. and where I was living in North Scottsdale, I'll pick up people that aren't gonna puke in my car. Instead, I'm gonna pick up people that are going to the airport or they're going to the office. I therefore had a podcast on, and he therefore asked me what I did and why I did it and how I did it. Why? Because I created curiosity of him to understand why I would be listening to something about social media marketing. But that was my opportunity to sell people, and it was practice when I did Uber for 6 months in 2019. But 2017, I had an internship in Arizona, and that internship is where I learned massive amounts of marketing, where people were spending 6 figures a month on ads. They were making 6 figures in revenue on their Shopify store, running Facebook and Instagram ads. And this is very early. So it was fairly easy compared to what it is now to make a great deal of money on social media when it comes to paid ads, whether you had a brick and mortar or you were selling t-shirts with a Shopify store. And during that time, I built hundreds of Shopify stores. I was one of 12 entrepreneurs in 2017 out of 500 applicants that were teaching people the marketing I was immersed in. And fast forward to 2019, I Uber. He was one of the people I picked up in August. I still have the text, and he offered me an interview. And then I therefore I told them in their interview, I said, I'll do this. This is the opportunity for me to run the advertisements for all of your locations. So again, this $100 million staffing agency had 100 locations all across the United States. I dropped what I was doing, and then he hired me, where I started at, I think, $17 an hour. And then that was in September of 2019. And this is right before the world stopped. And then I got an opportunity to speak on stage at their corporate annual conference. And that was within the first 3 to 6 months of working there. And I therefore learned the business first. And at the staffing agency, if you're not familiar, I was the person that put the people out to work. So if you are somebody that works with a staffing agency, I was the dispatcher in the morning at 4 a.m. making sure you had the right worker that had the right PPE, and even helping you hire the people that we essentially recruited for you.
But I knew about LaborMax. I worked with them years and years ago. Went to the office, 5 a.m. like I always did. And guess who was there? Shawn was there. He's like, hey, I got this spot over for you on Bell Road. I got forklift certified through LaborMax and through Border. I take care of the will call desk, which is customers come in, they either have placed orders by the phone or they've come into our store.
And so that was where I was learning in the office as an account manager. And then 4 or 5 months, I think in March is where, ironically, March is where the conference was happening. And days after the conference, not even the day after, maybe the week after, somewhere around there, is when the world shut down. I spoke at the conference. It was the best thing ever, and the world shut down. That's when things changed forever, because the world shut down, number one, but I was deemed an essential worker. So the fact that I was essential, I was still out making sure people were flagging, you know, making sure they were going, and we were dispatching hundreds of people out. That was where I was living up to my delivery and promise. We used the Phoenix office as a trial to see if we can generate more qualified candidates to work on these jobs. And one of the things that I did is I started getting testimonials of people that were happy with the pay that they were receiving working with the staffing agency. So that was one of my first ever productions, so to speak, in 2020. That was like the first time we really started to get aggressive, where I was starting to do this at a high scale for a $100 million company, because my goal was to become the CMO of this company. And I was later able to do that after going to the conference. And then all of 2020, I traveled across the United States. But that was when I went to Pensacola, Florida. I went to Houston, Texas. I was all across the United States, and I was in these areas, getting the people physically in the locations and making sure they were getting to the jobs.
Today, y'all know what the date is?
Today is September 15th, 2020.
All right, September 15th. We here, where we at? Labor Max Staffing?
Labor Max Staffing.
Okay, how'd you hear about Labor Max Staffing?
Man, I seen an ad on Facebook.
Yeah.
And I just read it, and I took a screenshot, and it was what I wanted to hear. So.
Okay. All right, guys, today we are here in Pensacola Beach. Chris here. Chris, how'd you hear about us?
Facebook. There's a Facebook ad my girlfriend showed me.
The owner had bought a van, and we were driving to locations and we were recruiting people in the areas. And one of the big weapons that they had were me. And what did I do? We ran ads in the areas that we were marketing to. And I started capturing videos of people showing up to the job, people actually performing the jobs, asking them how it went, how they heard about us. And this is what I did all of 2020. And that was definitely taking control of my life. And then I was creating opportunity out of thin air for this $100 million company that was already doing well. And I was driving hundreds of phone calls for this company all across the United States. And then I later just started working with the branches, telling them what to film, how to film it, where they needed to send it. And then I would run their ads for them. And I did that for dozens and dozens of locations all across the United States. And that was my catalyst to where I was becoming a staple working with local businesses in America. That moment really set me up for success, that I was able to ascend to where people wanted to hire me. I ended up leaving that job in September of 2021. And then I was getting opportunities that I had to jump on. And one of the first businesses that I started working with outside of the corporate job was a contracting business. And shout out to Jim with Beachy. At the time was Beachy Contracting. Now it's Beachy Buildings. And at the time, he had hired me out in September of 2021 to do a blitz production, I call it. Again, we film what we advertise. And originally he needed somebody to run his ads. And interesting enough, he was doing hail claims in Wichita, Kansas, installing concrete, and then he was building barns out in that area, or he was replacing roofs. And that was when I came out there and we did a bunch of filming of him working on the jobs. And he already had a great setup where he had a drone, he was already getting content, but he wanted somebody in the driver's seat.
I'm a roofing contractor here in Wichita, Kansas. Working with Shawn about 50 days ago, and in those first 50 days, Shawn over at StorylineMarketing's added an additional about 105 quality leads to our business. He's everything from commercial roofs, farmsteads, residential roofs. Really stepped in and allowed me to focus on scaling our company. I've been really happy with working with him. I've got multiple six-figure deals that I'm working on right now, all from the leads that I've got from Shawn. But give him a shout if you have a chance to work with him. Take it while you can.
He was doing $3 million, $2 million a year. And fast forward now, that same company is now doing $1 million a month. And he's had numerous videos go viral. He's spending thousands of dollars a month on Facebook ads, and he hasn't stopped since, where he was just in one market and now he's in almost 20 different states. And at some point we will do a podcast, but that was where things started getting crazy in September of 2021, and the momentum started rolling. And so going into 2022, as I was gaining more traction and results for him as well as others, I was therefore referred people, and one of the people I referred to was Anthony with AutoWorks. Some of you guys might know him, but if you aren't familiar, Anthony with AutoWorks, he owns an automotive shop that does general repairs in Gallup, New Mexico.
You're meeting the first shop owner where it all started.
And he was on the search for somebody to run his advertisements, as he was doing it himself, but he wanted somebody to fully focus on the advertisements so he could focus on growing his business. And at the time when he reached out, he could not surpass making $40,000 in a month's time. He was in business for 8 years. And when he hired Storyline Marketing, March of 2022, we ran ads with what he had, and I had requests like, hey, could you get this video? Could you get that photo?
What's up, guys? Anthony with AutoWorks over here. So my ads guy's been on me for the last couple months to make a video the last 10 years in business.
So could you get this video? Because I was seeing things that could be answered in a commercial. You're getting a production company and an advertising agency. You're getting the director included. You're getting a Quentin Tarantino, a Steve Spielberg. You're getting the directors that get the emotions out of the movies that make you cry, the documentaries that make you laugh, the things that make you mad as well as sad. That is what Storyline Marketing is to small businesses in America. That was the first automotive client that was referred by my buddy Alex, who's an assassin, Alex Urban.
Shawn and I go quite a bit back, but recently Shawn has caught my attention. He has become an expert in scaling local service-based businesses.
We got 3 days of content that's lasted all the way up until this point. And so 90 days after that, he went from $40,000 a month, not being able to pass that in Little Gallup, New Mexico, only 20,000 people. And in February of 2023, he did his first $80,000 month. He's never accumulated anything near that. Since 2023 of February, he has done 6 figures all but 1 month since then. So over 30 months, he's done multi 6 figures every single month, and $550,000 in 2022, $1.2 million in 2023, and $1.6 million in 2024. And now he is on the verge of opening his second location, where he is looking to expand in a whole new market, as well as seeing how we can expand to $2 million in a year for his original location. And since then, in 2022, where we saw that big jump, that's when I made the decision to work with local businesses, home service and automotive businesses. And since then, we've done numerous productions. And now we are scaling to 100 shops in the United States.
We'll handle a bunch of phone calls, but
Yeah.
we won't make a sale. But then, last Monday, the first call that actually it was a walk-in. They saw us on Facebook. Mm-hmm. Boom, $8,000 sale, right off the bat.
What did he get?
We're only gonna profit like $3,500, but still, you know.
You haven't been up.
That's
since.
more. That was one day of the week. Remember I said 3,000 a week?
Yeah.
That was one day.
That's what I'm saying.
And then the next Tuesday, Trevor lands $1,800 for sale, and that one will literally profit like $1,500 on it.
That's fucking dope,
And it's the fabrication. Now people are starting to see that we do fabrication, so they're hitting us up for the fabrication.
We'll do a video on that today, just because everything that I'm hearing, again, I'm gonna get my computer and I can show you the calls, we can listen to some of them, but overall, I didn't listen to everyone, because again, that's how I know how to make you guys more money, to hear what people are saying.
Every market is different. Every market needs a tailored approach. And this is what we understand that the agency that you're working with doesn't understand, in the sense of advertising on social media and using video. We're not just making one video, we're making numerous videos in like a 2-day period for the next 6 to 12 months. You name it. Your anniversary, we've got a narrative behind it. Your staff, employees, common questions they get on the phone, we have topics that we ask them about. And this is what you need going into 2025 and beyond if you want to thrive in 2025, because consumers are skeptical. Just like you're skeptical of the agencies and the ads that you see, consumers are skeptical of your automotive services. Just because you say you're the best, that doesn't mean you're the best. You want to be the talk of the town, you must invest into your narrative. Netflix invested last year in 2024, $14 to $15 billion in production costs alone. The conversations you have, it revolves around media. And the media is what drives the sales of the things that you do and how you do it and how you make decisions on buying, whether you realize it or not. You have narratives in your business that will drive your sales. Yes, it's scary, but you wanting to jump to that revenue number is scary as well. And I'm here with Jason McKee.
We're excited. We think it's going to do, I think we're going to do really good things with it. I'm glad Shawn was persistent and kept on me and got me to actually do it. I was a little nervous about being on camera, and I think everybody else here was too.
It's also scary to not do it, because if you don't do it, your competitors will. If you can't make the decision of investing into this emotional asset to your business to magnify it, you will logically lose. And this is the answer to do that. You need to stop being a consumer and need to be a producer. And that's what Storyline Marketing is here to do with people that want to partner. You're gonna see our results and see our success with your competitors. And I want it to be you, but you've got to make that executive decision to go with the obvious choice. Because if you go with the obvious choice, then we'll make you the obvious choice.
Well, I'll give you a data-driven revelation. On the mailers, you have first-time customers usually coming in for an oil change. It's a tough sale. They're trying you out. They're here for the oil change. We're just buying opportunity with the cheap oil changes, right? So that I do a full inspection on your car and let you know what else it needs. Most of the time, those people have to come in here 2 or 3 times before they trust you. What I'm seeing with the people that come in from social media is that trust factor has already been established through the videos. So you skip those first 3 visits where you have to earn their trust. And right off the bat, the average ticket for social media leads this month, I think it's like $600, $700, versus the mailers that the average ticket's like $80, $90.
Right.
You know, so as far as building that trust factor, social media is doing a great job.
Awesome.
Because people come in and they feel like they already know you. They already know what you're about. Like, look, man, so far this month, so we're 22 days in, so 2.5 weeks just about. We've had 6 people come in from social media, and the average ticket has been $772.
Hey, let's go.
So that's $4,600. That's $4,600 that have been generated from that.
$4,600. How much would be put into this month? You said that's this month alone.
That's this month alone. $4,633. Gross profit dollars have been $2,348.
Look at that. You only spend $1,000. So you're roughly about 2x.
Yep.
This is the testimonial. So as you were saying,
the build up. Once we actually pulled the trigger and gave you the down payment and all that stuff, you know, here's my thing. It's not just the filming and the production and all of that that you're paying for. When you're paying for this, your whole team gets on board, and all of a sudden your shop's clean. All of the things that you've been holding off on getting done are getting done, just in a rush to get everything prepared to be on camera, you know, to be seen by the public inside and out, you know. So it brought out the best in everybody. Once I let everybody know we're doing this, be on board or be out. And they all jumped on board, and they were all gung-ho for it, and everybody pitched in to make the place look better than it's ever looked. And it worked in many different ways to increase, even more so increase our the vibe of the shop. You know, the aura, the essence, all that. Uptick. Exactly. It turned everything into. There's a reason to clean. There's a reason to keep it straight. There's a reason to work on it, right? You know, and it really did kick a fire under everybody's ass, and they all decided that they wanted to pitch in and be a part of the team, and
what was your
it was
initial
really cool.
thoughts? What was your initial thoughts? Like when I first called you in 30 minutes, you reaching out, and then we did the demo. Like, what was the thing that stuck out? Because again,
that you're niche specific. I mean, you talked the lingo. You spoke about the automotive industry like you were in the automotive industry. You weren't just a videographer, you know, content creator that didn't really know what was going on in the industry. You guys, you impressed me with your knowledge of the industry, and of not only the industry, of certain places in the industry, service writer, technician, manager. You kind of had an understanding of their job, like what their jobs are, what they go through, and how you can help, and the empathy of that, exactly, and how you can help, right? So when it came down to it, it was just, you know, you guys, you spoke the lingo. You knew what I needed you to know in order for me to feel comfortable with hiring you.
Yeah.